The big challenge was that all the constructions came down in the earthquake. More than 90% of the constructions was destroyed. MSF was planning to set up a hospital for 200 patients, 200 beds, with two operational theaters. All this should be set up as quickly as possible because the temporary solution was in tents. So there was only a spell of 5 months to set up these structures. And therefore, MSF decided in this particular case to go for a system of prefabricated containers in a context where construction materials were very scarce because everybody was looking for them for rehabilitation, reconstruction. The complete shipment was more than 120 containers to be assembled to house the hospital, and then some dozens of containers containing the equipment for the hospital, starting from beds, X-ray machines, laboratory equipment. The containers were prefabricated in Europe and were shipped to the neighboring country, the Dominican Republic, because this was the only functional harbor on the island to unload the cargo from the ship. And then the big hassle started to transport on the road these 150 plus containers across the island. And then the big challenge was to unload the trucks literally in the middle of nowhere. I started in a banana plantation, which I had to transform into a container terminal to unload containers. I've never done this before. I've never worked in the road logistical business. So I had to find a solution to build ramps with very, very limited resources under very, very high time pressure. I started with sandbag construction for the ramp and a huge concrete slab on top of it, which initially was planned to be horizontal and then with a ramp to go down with a forklift, but this was too resource consuming. And this is very typical for MSF. I had to downsize it to the very minimum of functionality, so I built actually only the ramp with a gradient. So and then I had to calculate which was the maximum gradient I could go for, because if I slide out the content of the containers, not to destroy the containers, the transportation containers on the trucks and stuff like this, and to take care of the work safety of the staff. I have never felt so anxious about the safety of my colleagues. I had to work finally in 24/7. We were working in continuously, even overnight. The European architect planning really stressed the importance of high quality concrete. And I knew that all the factors of this concrete, sand, cement, and water, are very, very difficult to get in suitable quality. This was really a hassle to get. And then the framing for the foundations was initially planned in wood. One of the most limited resources in deforested Haiti. So I was looking for frames in metal and for a welder who was able to produce the frames in a suitable quality. I had sometimes more than 300 workers, labor on the construction site, and I needed to organize them in teams. And I found enough workforce, but I did not find sufficient team leaders with the capability to really manage the team. In the end, I found very, very experienced engineers who were doing workshops for kind of the team leader level for the teams. I took 2 days. I closed the construction site because I saw we are not making enough progress, and I asked the two chief engineers on my construction site together with me to make a a training course for the team leaders, and this really saved my time frame in the end. Well, the first, I remember unloading the first container. I chose the one with the heaviest content, with the heaviest single parcel I had in it, with more than 11 tons. And I thought, if my ramp survives this, at least I know that I can unload all the rest. And the first truck pulled backward to the ramp and smashed into the ramp, and made a crack into the ramp. And I thought, okay, that's the beginning of the end. It was very scary to see the tons of content slide out. Sometimes I had a winch to pull it out of the container, so once it was sliding, only the weight would stop it. I got the content, the complete 150 plus containers within 3 days. While I did the reception of the containers, we were constructing the foundation of the hospital, which was a high precision process, more than 300 columns, with a tolerance of only 1 or 2 centimeters in either direction and also vertically. There was huge workforce working on that, and I knew that I'm also under huge time pressure, because the concrete needs to cure for a while before you can start to put containers on it. Doing groundworks in different contexts, it starts with a different soil composition. I was asked by the architect sitting in Central Europe to send him the composition of the soil so that he could calculate the exact dimensions of the foundation. Next process step is to assemble the containers, because to save transportation space, the containers were disassembled and I had to reassemble them. It's like a huge IKEA. And then we did it close to what I described as the container terminal. I had 4 workshops where I did the serial production with 4 teams. And then the big challenge was to transfer the container elements to the foundation. I had to build a road, because for the transportation truck the ground was not solid enough. I was taking all the rubble from the broken down houses from the streets, and I was cleaning up all the streets of the neighborhoods, which gave us a lot of credits with the neighbors. And then it was a high precision work to place the containers on the foundations, which was an incredible thing, because the crane we finally found there was absolutely at the limit of its specifications to deal with it. Not to forget about the contextual situation. Again, heavy rains every other day. It was getting windier and stormier, so you had to constantly fight against the climate, and you had to very carefully protect your half-constructed hospital from destruction before it was already assembled. So quite a nice challenge. I worked in Haiti for 3 months, and I left the work. I handed over my work when the placing, the installation of the containers on the foundations started. That's one important aspect of working for MSF. It's a project work, which means that you are assigned for a defined period to your project, and it means that you have to leave sometimes your project and to hand over to a colleague who is then continuing the work. It's very hard to see your work where you have literally invested every ounce of your energy not completed, and then to leave. And actually it was quite hard also to leave behind the teams I was working with. But the good thing is that my successor, he shared then pictures with me, and nostalgically I also admit I was checking then Google Earth at a certain stage to look at the progress of my work, to say so. From preparing the site until the first patient was transferred into the new construction, it took 6 months.